What's older than we think? The O connector that we still use for headphones and speakers was invented in 1877. There have been improvements since, but the basics of it are pretty much the same. Web link. Thanks for linking it, you are a true hero. Beer is thought to be older than bread. It's much easier to fill a jar with wheat and water, let it ferment, and brew beer than it is to grind grain, mix it, and bake it. So you're telling me sliced bread is the greatest thing since beer? Huh. To the way bread is now. Sharks. As a species, they're older than the rings of Saturn. Holy crap, I've heard of the tree thing, but this is new. Any sources? Just Google it really quick. Laughing out loud, rings of Saturn are 10 to 100 million years old, whereas